Hello, everybody, and welcome to Livestream with Restream, our live product Q&A, where we go over the latest
Hi guys,
updates
welcome to
and
Restream.
announcements coming from Restream, along with showing you our product, how things work, and stuff like that.
It looks like we've got some...
My name is Randy. I'm the video production... Ooh, I'm on the wrong side here. Let me just switch sides. I'm the video production manager here at Restream, and I'm joined here with Hannah. Hello. Ooh, it looks like we're having a bit of a issue with the second webcam.
From what I'm seeing, I guess you guys can also see that the screen is a little dark. So I can see that we're having some technical difficulties.
Just a second here.
Let's continue and get started with the stream. So my name's Hannah. Welcome to Restream. So today we're going to talk a little bit about how we're going to use the studio and how you're able to get the most out of the Restream experience. So to get started, I'm Hannah. I'm the webinar specialist for Restream.io, and my focus is having users have the best experiences possible and learning more. Hey, Randy, welcome back.
Hey, yeah, sorry about that. It looks like I had a little bit of a browser issue, but luckily I'm able to join the stream here.
Yeah, no worries. I was a little confused if maybe you were talking still and I thought I could only see me, or you could only see you, but I'm glad that you got that resolved.
Yeah, luckily we are, the cool thing about Restream Studio is it actually gives you this option to do dual host mode. So myself and Hannah are actually both in Restream Studio right now, and we have full control over the chat, the captions, the graphics, the setup. So when my camera had a little bit of a goof there, or my browser, or whatever happened, I just reloaded, the stream stayed live, Hannah was able to take control, and we were able to get right back into the action. So that's kind of the good thing about Restream Studio is it helps you overcome those embarrassing ends to the stream where it's like, oh, there's a connection issue, and then suddenly you're offline and you have to come back online. So luckily, kind of all deals with it for you right in Restream Studio. So that's super helpful.
Yeah, it's really great because, at the end of the day, it's all about how you recover from when you have an issue. Randy, when you were recovering from that small blip, how did you join back into the studio? Did you have to do any specific steps, or was there something that you had to do specifically in order to access the studio again, or was it pretty easy?
So it was super easy. I can even show you what I do because what I did here, because I've got a screen share set up here over on the left. So basically, you can see that I'm in the Restream Studio dashboard here on my second account, and I'll also show you kind of what it looks like. Here's what it looks like for Hannah and I. You can see the whole stream here. So basically, all I had to do is click reload, and you'll see that Restream Studio will automatically bring you back to exactly where you were before. Except for I've got my camera disabled on this second browser here because I'm using it in my first browser, and you can only use a camera in one place at a time with Windows. So luckily, it was like super easy to join right back. I didn't have to re-log in or try and like connect with you on Slack, like invite me back, send me the Zoom link on Gmail or something like that.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that we're able to use this feature. How co-hosting works is that you have two people log into the same Restream account with the same login credentials. So instead of sending them a guest link, how you would with a guest, you would have to give someone else your ID or email and the password. So you can absolutely do this, and it really helps recover streams if you have any network issues as well.
I see that we're getting a lot of people joining us in the chat, including the Arab immigrants who are here quite often. So welcome back there. If you are in the chat, let us know where you're joining from, where you are in the world. I myself, I'm from Canada, right in Niagara Falls, although I am moving to Toronto very soon. Where are you from, Hannah?
Well, I'm originally from the States, but I'm currently located here in France right now.
I've always wanted to go to France. So I'm assuming you've been to Paris then, right?
I actually lived in Paris for just over 2 years, and it is every bit as magical as you would imagine it to be. I think I would argue it's the best place on the planet. So
as soon as this pandemic ends, I'm getting on a plane and flying to Paris. I want to see the Eiffel Tower. I want to be in the Eiffel Tower.
I lived right across the street from the Eiffel Tower, and French people always say, oh, it gets old after some time, but this is not true. It never gets old. It is still beautiful every single day, no matter how often you look at it.
So I see we have got a bunch of people here. We've got Henry from New York, Nobert from Las Luna, Marion here from Chicago. We've got some feedback already coming in here from Flatline BB. Sharing passwords is not a good idea. Please find a better way to manage that. That's a great point. It's something we are actually working on to make the co-hosting experience a little bit more secure. On the bright side, however, you can quickly change your password at any time. So just make sure when you are inviting a co-host that they're somebody that you trust. And if it's not somebody that you trust and you don't want to give them access to your account, we do have a guest invite feature. So you can send them a one-use link for them to join that stream. You have full control on if they can be seen or not and what and that kind of thing. So I'm just going to quickly pop this on here. You can see that in the right side here, you can just quickly turn off any webcam of somebody that you don't want to be seen or heard, or turn them back on. And you can even do that in co-hosting mode as well.
Yeah, and what I really love about this feature is that you can have a whole lineup of people hanging out backstage, and you can enable them in and out of the broadcast as you like. So if you have 5 different guests ready for your broadcast, you can have them on at different time periods, or you can have multiple at a time. So that's something really exciting that we offer.
So while we're waiting for everybody to show up here, I like to give everybody who showed up first, who responded to our email or subscribes to our channel, I like to give you our updates right away, and then we'll jump into the Q&A right after that. So the first thing that I wanted to show everybody in chat here today is a super duper brand new feature. It's called background music. I'm going to bring my screen share back on, and I'm going to use one of our alternate layouts to put Hannah and I on top, but not in the way. Perfect. So we have multiple layouts that we can use here in Restream Studio. So what background music does is it gives you the ability to have background music for your stream, except for it's not background music in the typical sense where it's, music you have to get from YouTube or Spotify or iTunes. This is actually music that's algorithmically generated via AI. So every time you listen to it, it's going to be a different track, a different mix of music, which means no licensing problems, no copyright problems. Even if somebody is streaming and they're going to copyright that stream after, the music will be totally different when you use it. So you won't have to worry about that. And it's super easy to access. You just click this plus icon down here where it says add source, and you get this little pop-up here. And then you choose background music. And then you can choose any of the different types of music you want: chill, hip hop, ambient, pop, rock, metal, and classic. So I'm going to go ahead and select chill. And then you can hear all that background music is started. And this will run through the whole stream. And then you can even quickly toggle it off or on if you want as well. And that'll run throughout the whole stream. And like I mentioned, it's completely refreshable. So all you just have to click this up here and then click refresh music, and you'll get a different track, a different vibe. I'm going to do it in our dashboard here on the right so you guys can hear it as well, because that was a little movie magic for you to hear that one over here. But I'm going to switch on this. And this is the kind of chill music that we have right now. And then we can refresh it to a different chill. Wait for it. Boom. there it comes in, and it's going to be different every single time. And then you've got the genres that you can pick through, and all that stuff. Just really kind of make your stream pop, if you want to choose pop or chill or anything that you want to do during your stream.
I really love this new feature. Randy, is there any way that you would really like to have this incorporated in your broadcast, or any repurposing ideas that you feel that users could incorporate our new overlay in?
So I definitely think that for our streamers who are going live for 6 or 7 hours, and you want to have a kind of break or an intermission in your stream, it's really good for that. You can throw up an intermission graphic very easily. We have tons of graphics that are preset in Restream Studio already. And you can see you can swap them around. These are overlays. They sit on top, so you can very easily get a full overlay that goes over the whole screen, covers everything. Throw on some background music, go get a cup of coffee, come back. Your audience is enjoying some chill beats. You're not losing viewers because it's just silent and BRB screen. On top of that, you can use it for if you're doing an intro or you just want to set the mood to some background music. Set some music for your interview. I also saw one person who was doing, they kind of stream like wine reviews, and they talk about different types of wine.
Oh.
And it sounded really good to have background music playing during that, because, there's these moments where it's like silent for 30 to 40 seconds while they taste the wine and then start talking about it. And it's really nice to just kind of set the mood with some chill music or whatever you really want to listen to, just kind of like bring that vibe around and not have any like silent, dead, boring parts of the stream.
Yeah, I think that really creates a very nice ambiance and a very nice atmosphere. I was looking through the comments and we had a really great question. Norbert Gostisha, sorry about if I'm saying that incorrectly. They're asking if there's any way to download the music that you offer as a new feature so it can be used elsewhere. So from my understanding, this isn't possible that we're able to do because this is not available directly on Restream. It's something that is refreshed automatically and you always have new content directly. So at this time, it's not available, but in the future, we'd like to have the customization that you're able to add your own music and audio.
Plus, adding on to that, the reason why we don't want to specifically allow people to download is the point of this generating algorithmically is that we don't want anybody to run into copyright issues or licensing issues. So one of the issues that we kind of ran into a couple months ago is that we have these countdown timers that appear in Restream Studio. And the music from that was claimed by somebody else who went live. So we quickly contacted the copyright holders and we got them to release that right away. But for one day there, false copyright claims went out. They were pulled back as soon as we contacted the copyright. So nobody got in trouble. You can still use those. And we are on top of making sure that nobody claims them. But this is kind of the issue in the current stage of YouTube and Facebook and Twitch is they don't know what is copyright free and what isn't copyright free unless you specifically reach out and tell them. So the good thing about this auto-generating background music is you don't have to worry about somebody else claiming it from their previous live because it's different every single time. However, if you do really love the music and you want to get a copy of it yourself, feel free to, you can disable your cameras in Restream Studio, enable the music, turn it all the way up, turn off all of your channels and hit go live. That will only allow you to go live to Restream Studio, and we automatically record the streams on standard professional plans, and then you can download it from there. You can even just download the audio copy right from your recording step. So it is possible to download it, but like I said, the whole reason we have it is to make sure that nobody is accidentally getting claimed or kicked off their live streams.
Yeah, that's actually a really creative alternative to allow users to do that. That's a really good idea.
Well, I hope it comes in use.
So is it okay if I go through some more questions? We've got some really great user feedback, or do you want to go through the studio first?
Let's quickly go through the studio, and then all the questions that we currently have piling up, we have a chat that we can scroll through. We can pull them up anytime. So make sure you throw your questions in there and we'll get right back to them as soon as possible. I'll share my screen so we can talk a little bit about how to customize Restream Studio. And we'll pop it down like this.
I love the different layouts that we have accessible in the studio. It gives it a really fun and very inventive new way on repurposing your stream. I think that's so great.
So it's really cool. Ooh, I'm hearing an echo, but I'm not sure where it's coming from. I'll just mute this. Oh yeah, it's still there. Do you hear the echo as well?
I don't hear any echo. Do you have any other browser tabs open?
I might, but if no one's else hearing it, I'll just ignore it.
Okay.
Basically, when you're using Restream Studio, you've got your whole chat here, so you can quickly highlight messages from your audience, which I'm sure you're all aware of. It's what we've been doing during the show. We just quickly click it to be able to hide and show things. But on top of that, we also have the ability to completely customize the look and feel of your stream by playing with the graphics tab here. So as you can see from the graphics on the left, I've got nothing enabled right now, but what I really do love is our spring layouts that we added. So you can see we could just quickly add it in one of our spring layouts. We can go to my favorite one here. And then you can even add in backgrounds for this. So if I disable my camera, you'll see the background. Right now, I've got one of those moving backgrounds that are super new to Restream Studio. But we also have matching backgrounds for these spring layouts that you can use. So you can see that almost blends right in. And then when you have multiple people in your stream, it really makes it, let me just quickly share the screen so we can have multiple people on the stream, quote unquote. And you can see the overlay sits on top on both sides and it matches the background, and it really just brings some life to your stream. And both of them match as well. So you can kind of like switch back and forth on what you think is best, or you can do some live movement backgrounds. You can turn on participant names. You can add logos, overlays. You can play video clips like you saw at the beginning of this stream where it kind of does a countdown and has some music. Or you can do no countdown and just kind of have some nice music playing over the top of a cool animation. So you definitely have lots of ability to fully customize Restream Studio and really make it your own, to the point where somebody watching your stream is like, wow, this is a professional broadcast. You have 10 people behind the scenes, but no, just Restream Studio.
I think that looks so cool. I really love the new background features that we have that's animated that will allow for a really fun and very elevated streaming experience. I think that's so fun.
And of course, our overlays work on top of this as well. So you can have that, constantly moving background. We have a couple different ones you can choose from. One of the ones that is actually my favorite is this one. I find this one's like really modern looking, and it's just enough that it keeps the movement throughout the screen, but not enough that it's distracting. So this is definitely one of my favorites.
Oh, I don't know. I really love this purple one that I'm going to show. This one's my favorite. I really like that it's kind of sparkly and it's got lots of movement. And I really love the ocean. So this kind of reminds me of those waves in a very fabric type sense. So I really
It
love
does.
this.
And it shows the interconnectedness of the internet. All the little dots are different people.
Yeah, and that's what we're here at Restream for. We're here to connect you to everyone else, right?
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to switch this to just our normal live streaming background. And I think we are good to take some questions, and I'll leave my screen share open so we can constantly pop that back up if anybody has any questions specifically where we're going to show you things.
Yeah. All right. So I'm looking through the questions here right now. There's so many really good ones. It's hard to just pick one. So I'm going to start off with one of the older ones. And a user's reaching out saying, Josh Herbert saying, I thought the free version only streams to one platform. And this is a really good question. And with Restream, what we do is multi-streaming to multiple platforms all at the same time. So we have more than 30 free destinations that you have the ability to stream to on the free plan. So you can immediately go to the live studio like what we're doing now, and you can add Facebook, Twitch, YouTube. You can add Trovo, Mixcloud, all for free. And once you have an account, you just add them into the dashboard directly, and then you can hit go live and start streaming immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. And like Hannah said, that's all available on our free plan. You can even stream directly to Restream by using custom RTMP. Say you already have OBS set up and you're streaming directly to Twitch, and now you want to include YouTube in your workflow. You can just come to the Restream dashboard, add those two channels, hit RTMP settings, copy those into OBS, just like you did with Twitch, and bada bing, bada boom, you're going live. And even with OBS Studio, you can click Connect Account. It'll just connect right to your Restream account and go live. No need to grab the stream key or anything like that.
Yeah. All right. So let's see who we've got next. Okay, I've got another of our music feature questions. So Flatline BB wants to know, is the music only available when using the website? What about when using OBS? So our new audio feature that our new audio source that we have for background music is currently a very specific Restream Studio feature. But we do have a really cool RTMP source feature that will allow you to pull OBS into the studio. And this is available from our premium and company plans upwards. So that will allow you to pull in OBS, and it will allow you to have all of OBS and its features, as well as all of the studio customizations. Randy, do you want to show users how they're able to pull in the RTMP source into the studio?
Yeah, absolutely. You read my mind. So let me pull this up. So I've got OBS Studio here, and I've got a clip that Anya, our marketing media manager, created. Just kind of her having fun on camera. So let's hit basically what you want to do. I know this is like an endless loop now, but you click this plus. Let me actually disable this graphic real quick. You click this plus icon right here, and you click RTMP source. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And then here's the URL and stream key. So I'm going to go ahead, open up settings here on OBS Studio, go to stream. We're going to switch this to Restream. We're going to use a stream key for the URL. So it's a specific URL. So we're actually going to switch to custom. We're going to copy the server URL in there. And then I'm going to copy the stream key in here and hit OK. And then we're going to hit start streaming, and it's going to start streaming right to our Restream Studio here. And then I'm going to change the streaming settings because I think I'm streaming actually way too high of a stream. So let's switch this back to simple, and we'll drop this down to 5,000.
Randy, are the stream settings really important to configure before you use OBS as a source?
Yeah, it's very important. And this is kind of the one thing that I'm spoiled by with Restream Studio is that you don't have to do any of these settings. You just hit go live and boom, you're live. So I think I just kind of like gapped there a little bit on the fact that I can't send a 1080p 60 frame stream to a 1080p 30 frame stream. It would be a little bit odd on the incoming end. So there we go. I've gone live now, and you can see I can add in. And we'll undo that. And there we go. You can see I've got Anya here in the bottom. And then when we hide this, you can see OBS Studio, and the output is now directly in here, and we can move it whenever we want. That's coming in directly from Restream Studio. It works really well for that. It's like a really good footage for just like kind of like pretending that there's actually a guest here. So like I said, this feed of Anya, she's on here live. This is coming right from OBS Studio. And then you could pop on the music on top of that. You can use overlays, graphics. You can highlight captions, and it'll automatically kind of move things around and make them fit in better. All this stuff. It's basically like taking OBS Studio and then plus, like OBS Studio plus Restream Studio.
I really love that. And this makes me think of a really creative way is if you have a guest and they're not available for the time that you need to broadcast, this would be a really creative way to incorporate them into the stream that you have. That's really, really fun. I really love this. What a cool feature to have.
And it's really nice because it's like you don't have to choose between OBS Studio and Restream anymore, or whatever other streaming software you're using. You can now link them all together and use them together. We're getting a lot of Instagram questions.
Yeah, I'm seeing that. We're getting some really good ones too. So since we're on the topic of OBS, I'm going to feature a question from Ken Yusel. And they want to know, do I need to use OBS to stream on Instagram, or there's a new feature to share YouTube? So this seems like two different questions from what I'm understanding. Please correct me if I'm wrong. So let's start off with the first one. You don't need to use OBS to stream to Instagram. Instagram's a little complicated because you can't stream there directly per the restrictions on the platform. But what you can use is use a third-party program, and you're able to use that with a paid destination and set it up via RTMP and stream key. This will allow you to stream to Instagram directly with Restream. So you're able to do that this way. And for your secondary question, you want to know if there's a new feature to share YouTube. I'm not really clear on this one, but we do have the ability to stream to YouTube for free. This is a free channel that we're able to add. So you're able to just go directly into your main dashboard, add YouTube, and you can hit the toggle on so that you're able to start streaming to it and go live directly in the studio or in OBS. So let's see what other questions we've got.
I like this question here from Corey.
Mhm.
Can you use multiple cameras to do a live broadcast with Restream? So do you want to take that question?
Yeah, I really love this one. This one for me is so it just makes me really excited about it. I love cameras. I have a lot of DSLR cameras. I have different, I love using green screens. I love using different things. And so I really have a lot of different setups that I want to incorporate and bring that into the studio directly. So one way that you can easily do this is if you don't have a DSLR, if you don't have another program, you can use the guest link. And so what you'd be able to do is you're able to just use the guest link. You can open it up directly in another tab, or you can use it on your phone. And so you'd be able to directly switch between the different camera setups that you have and alternate different views. If you want to use a DSLR, you could set this up in OBS and you can use that RTMP source and pull that directly into the studio, as Randy had shown previously. There's a lot of different ways that you're able to achieve this. And so we really want to give users the ability to have this accessible and to create very new and exciting ways to achieve this.
And then I see this other question here. Jeff Lambert, when you download the full audio after a live show, is it in M4A format? Spotify does not recognize this format, so I have to convert it every time. Is there any way or any plans to have the audio available in MP3? So I actually can answer this question.
Mhm.
On the back end, M4A is a lot easier to use when you're recording live streams. It's kind of like how I think originally it was AAC. But I'll definitely hand that MP3 comment over to Restream, like the upper staff that are working on Restream Studio itself. I'm not sure it's planned, but I know it's definitely been talked around on the team on how we would prefer to have that MP3 format. It's a lot easier to use. And beyond just bringing it to Spotify, even bringing it into other things like I think Anchor FM doesn't support M4A as well. And that kind of stuff. So it's a bit difficult at the moment. M4A also has a lot more quality in it than MP3. It's not as compressed. So it's kind of a toss up, but definitely something that we're working on.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to share that feedback with our developers after this, just so that we know that, this is something that our users are really interested in having, and that, we listen to your guys' feedback, because it's really important for us that we're creating features and content that's going to directly apply and benefit your streaming needs. So let's look through more questions. There's some really good ones right here.
I almost feel like since we talked about background music, we should have background music on, because we could probably do some do you think it'd be good?
Yeah, I love it. Let's do it. I haven't done it before on a broadcast yet, so I'm excited to get started.
Okay, let's do pop, because I always find that sounds the best. Let's see. Okay, and then we'll just have it be actual background music instead of louder than us. Okay, perfect. Now we've got some background music going. Like I said, this feature is available right now. So you just pop into Restream Studio and pick your background music that you want.
Yeah. Just as a tiny bit of a heads up, I would recommend that when streaming, you're always using headphones, whether they're wireless or if they're headphone, whatever they are. Make sure that you're using some sort of audio device that's not having the echo feedback playing, because otherwise it's really going to diminish the value of your stream. You're going to hear echoes, and it's not just going to be the audio that you're speaking, it's going to be the music that you're playing, and it's going to cause for a lot of confusion. It's going to really degrade the overall quality of the broadcast that you have.
That's fantastic advice. Very, very good to live by. If you ever hear an echo on your stream, or I guess actually even backing up further than that, audio is probably more important on a stream than video. If somebody tunes into your video and the stream's a little bit low quality, but the audio is good, they're probably going to stick around. If they tune in and there's an echo and background music and a fan and all this stuff, they're not even going to wait for the video to load before they leave. So audio is very, very, very important.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely agree. I know that there's been several times where I've had users just reach out and they're like, hey, how can I resolve the echoing issue that I'm having? How can I resolve the audio issue that I'm having? And, a lot of it comes down to the network connection that you have or the environment that you're streaming in. So it's really important that if you have these issues, that you're aware of what you're using and what your environment is, so that when you can forward those to support to best troubleshoot.
So can you turn the background music up a bit? I can't hear it. Yeah, absolutely. I'll go to 10. Let me know if that's good. How can we customize scenes in Restream? So I think this means that I need to share my screen again. So customizing your scenes. So we don't have scenes in the sense that OBS Studio has, but it is something that we are working on internally. For the most part, the scene customization is fully on your overlay and your background that you're picking, and then other stuff like that. So when you're in Restream Studio, just pop over to the graphics panel here. Let me go full screen on this so we can see it a little bit better. And we'll hide that for now. So basically, you just pop over to the graphics panel on the right here, and then you can pick any of your theme. So for example, if I pop this caption on, you'll see it appear here on the left. And then I can go to graphics and I can actually switch the way this caption works. So I prefer the news caption. That's why we're using it on this stream. But you have the rounded one, you have the default one. And then of course you've got all your overlays, which you can make. I saw a comment earlier that mentioned that the logo in the top right can't be moved. It always appears in the top right. If you do want your logo somewhere else, I just suggest hiding the actual logo itself and then using overlays. And then that way you can position it anywhere you want, export it as PNG, and that's where the logo will be. So you can see that these are all over the place. They're not just in one spot on the stream. And then, of course, you have your backgrounds as well, which I showed a little bit earlier, but we've got the movement backgrounds, we've got static backgrounds, and then of course you can upload your own as well.
What I really love about this is that with the Restream Studio, with our new RTMP source, and just with our professional plans upward, you have the ability to customize and really have great branding for your company, for your team, for your channel, whatever it is. You have the ability to customize and add custom logos, backgrounds, and even share videos in this way. And that's a really great way that you're able to, broadcast and share your custom content without having to need a third-party encoder or to have to set up any additional OBS or SLOBS. So that's a really great way to do it. And you're going to be able to have that great branding really at the ease with just several clicks of a button.
Yeah, I just love playing around in Restream Studio, especially all these and obviously I'm biased, but honestly, I just love all of these backgrounds. Our design team constantly blows me out of the water with what they put in here. I don't even think I would upload anything myself. I would just use this. They're all so great. And especially these ones that work together. You can do the spring layouts that work together and they accentuate each other's features. I love it. It's great.
Yeah, and I love that they're updated regularly, depending on what the season is or what the holidays are. We really try to make it very diverse and really fun. So we don't just have very staple or kind of stagnant images. We have something that's reflective on the things that are going on.
Then I'll just hide that for now. Yeah, we're getting a lot of questions.
Yeah, I'm looking through them right now. Let's see. Do you see any good ones that are piquing your interest right now, Rainey?
Let's do. And yeah, everybody, just make sure you keep those questions coming. We're constantly scrolling through the chat, and we want to help as much as we can. I see this question, and I think that might be great for you. So Michael Powell says, I belong to several groups on Facebook. Am I able to stream to specific groups only as my content would not necessarily be interesting to all of my subscribers?
So from what I'm understanding here, you want to stream to multiple groups on Facebook. So first of all, you need to make sure that you have the admin rights to do that. So you need to make sure that you have the ownership or the admin permission to allow you to stream to Facebook. So that's number one. So if you don't have this, then that means you're not going to be able to broadcast your stream to this channel. So if you do have the permission, that's great. What you can do after that is you can share whatever content you want. It's really important as you're building up a following, as you're building up, your own, as you're developing your own niche, that you're just constantly being inventive, you're creating content, and you're regularly streaming. Just streaming as much as possible. So I recommend whatever content you're creating, if you don't necessarily have a specific niche, if it's something you're interested in, if it's something that excites you, it motivates you, you're going to find an audience that's going to be excited about it too. So I recommend sharing your content, creating as much content as possible. And, you're going to find followers, you're going to find users who are really interested in that too.
That's great advice. Yeah, I think, sometimes we tend to put our followers and our audience in specific box. Oh, they won't like this. They will like this. They won't like this. But honestly, streaming to everybody at once, it gives them the opportunity to pop into your stream, see what it's about, and decide for themselves. So it's a great point.
Yeah. All right, I just saw this really great question. I'm looking for it right now. Let's see.
We're even getting some questions here in French.
I know, I think that's really exciting. I love getting users who reach out in French all the time. I have lots of users who are constantly reaching out in French. J'adore Restream. Merci, c'est super gentil. So that's really exciting. So let's see.
Here's a good question from Chef Fred Barros. Am I able to pre-record videos and stream them as live?
This is one of my favorite life hacks, or at least I consider it to be a life hack. I love creating and streaming broadcasts without streaming directly to any channels. So with a paid plan, you have the ability to have Restream recordings. I love making content. I love having those saved internally. And then I love repurposing that and just going to my video storage and then enabling that to stream on another date. So Randy's gonna show you how to do this. So you're gonna go to your recordings, and then you can click directly on the video recording that you have, and you can enable this just for the date that you wanna schedule the broadcast. And so this is a really neat life hack because not only are you repurposing the content, but you don't have to be around to enable it to go live. You can have it taken care of immediately. So you can see Randy's clicking on the information on the 3 dots. He's gonna be able to schedule it based directly from the recording section of the video storage.
I think I might have some kind of ad block on my browser that's stopping it. So make sure when you're using Restream Studio to disable any ad blocks specifically for that site and whitelist it. If you run into the same issue that I'm here where I'm trying to hit schedule the stream and it's not popping up, it might be because of that. And in that case, you can actually jump into events, hit create event, schedule a recorded video, and then you'll actually be able to choose from your recordings and your uploads right in here. So if you ever run into that issue, hop over into the events and you can do it all from here, just like what Hannah was saying. And then when you click it, you'll see that you have the option to kind of go to the next stage. I think these are they're longer than the plan that I currently have because this is a second account that I'm using. So they're a bit too long to stream with pre-recorded, but you'll see in our plan details what you can and how long you can go live for. But you can definitely stream, or you can even upload your own things, hit next. So you can see I just click this upload that I have here, hit next, and then you can type your title, your description, your date, the time you want it to go live, upload the image. And then when you hit next, it'll ask you what channels you want to schedule on, and then you hit schedule and boom. As soon as that time comes, you can see I have my event here that we actually went live in today, but this is a live event. But in the same kind of way, right at 1 o'clock, it would have gone live. It would have streamed just like it was a live stream. It would have ended, and you would even be able to sit there and interact with the chat during that time.
No, thank you so much for showing that. I really love that this feature allows users to create content in advance. With our new update, you can schedule it more than 7 days in advance with our pre-recorded events. So that's really exciting, and that we've gotten a lot of user feedback about that. So now if you have an event that's in 3 weeks from now on Facebook, you're able to get that started with our pre-recorded events or even our live events, and you can have that arranged.
So great question. Thanks for that. And then we'll just keep scrolling through here. Oh, from Mary, we have, if I have more than 4 groups that I want to stream to them, do I have to keep removing and adding channels to be able to access them? So I'm assuming they mean Facebook groups.
Yeah. And so I'm assuming Mary maybe she only has a professional plan. And so that means that you have 1 free pager group, and then you have 3 customer paid channels. So that means you can have 4 Facebook groups. So if you have more than this, what I would recommend that you would do is you can either, 1, upgrade your plan to premium so that way you'd be able to have access to more Facebook groups and destinations. Or if you can't do this, a little hack would be to just remove it entirely from your dashboard. So that would allow you to have access to adding a different group or just adding a different channel or a different destination as well. So that's yeah.
So if I'm on the free account and I've got Facebook, so I'm on a free account and I've got my Facebook profile added. If I go to add a second Facebook profile, but maybe it's somebody else's Facebook profile, I can't have both of them added to the account at the same time, even if I toggle one off?
No, so you can't do that. So what the free plan allows you to have is 1 Facebook personal account. So if you want to add another one, you'd either have to change it and remove entirely the other one from the dashboard, or you'd have to upgrade your plan.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Why can't... Oh, here's a good question that I can actually answer. Why can't we mark YouTube pre-scheduled as unlisted or private? This is mostly because Restream is mainly multi-streaming on the back end, because we really, really believe that multi-streaming is the way to grow yourself, to get more audience, to get more viewers, to get more interaction, to grow your brand and all that. So sadly, certain APIs like the Facebook API don't allow you to create events from the API unlisted. So it's hard for us to apply that across the board when you think, somebody might be adding a Facebook, a YouTube, a LinkedIn all to one stream, and only one of them can go through the API as private. LinkedIn needs it to be public. Facebook needs it to be public when it's coming through the API. That being said, as soon as it's scheduled, you can jump over to these platforms and you can edit them. The only one you can't is LinkedIn. Facebook will let you put it to unlisted after it's created. YouTube will as well, but LinkedIn won't. It's locked in place as soon as you schedule LinkedIn Live.
That was a really good question. That was a really good answer. I wasn't so sure about the LinkedIn channel. So thanks for sharing that, Randy. It seems like we're all getting some good knowledge.
Yeah, I've run into a couple issues with LinkedIn myself. If any of you are familiar with our YouTube channel, I've done all the tutorials for our channel. So I've run into my sheer amount of problems when I'm just like, okay, I'm going to explain this really easily, and I write the script, and then when I'm going to do the screencast, I'm like, oh, I got to go change my script.
Yeah. Oh, I do see another good question. So Felix Schlauser wants to know if we can integrate Slido or any other Q&A tool. Kahoot would be another example. And so that's a really great feedback. And I'm really glad that you mentioned this. And while it's not possible to do it this time, what I recommend that you do, and what I recommend that users do who want similar features, is that you add a link in your description so that you can have users interact with it. So if you want to have your users interact with it, they can click on the link in the description, and you can have it visible on your preview by using a screen share, so that you'd be able to interact directly with users and engage with them in that way. So that would be a really creative and very fun way that you'd be able to communicate with users and have more fun engagement.
So not to completely derail the conversation, but I see we have about 18 minutes left of the show. So I just wanted to mention that at the end of today's show, we're going to be giving away some free stuff. I think we're far enough into the show that I'm just going to mention what it is. It's a merch, this shirt that you see us wearing right now, to rep your Restream pride, and also a year of professional, so you can use all these cool tools that we're talking about with almost no restrictions at all. But you only have to do 3 things in order to qualify. So the first thing is you have to like this video on whatever platform you're on right now. You have to like it. Second is you have to hit subscribe, or if you're on our Facebook, hit like. And I think LinkedIn, it's follow. They just love changing the names. So make sure you follow the channels. And the third one is let us know what you use Restream Studio or Restream in general for. Do you use it for live events? What are your live events? Are you using it to connect with your audience? How often do you use it? Anything. The more detail, the better. And you can pop that in chat anytime between now and the end of the show. Like I said, you've got now 14 minutes, give or take, before we pick our winners.
I really love hearing user feedback on what they use to have Restream purpose for. I've heard people use it for weddings. I've heard people use it in their small businesses and restaurants. I really love to see how inventive people are, especially because the pandemic's been so hard and people have been so far away. It's a really great way to bring people together. Ooh, I like this one.
I love live streaming, watching live streams of art. Ooh, training materials and workshops. Love it. We do training materials and workshops too live.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love that, at Restream, this is our own content. So we're actually able to use this regularly within our own teams. Oh, I love Dungeons and Dragons. That's a fun one.
These are some great answers.
Yeah, I love seeing users who are using it for nonprofit organizations, for art, for all kinds of different, purposes. It's so fun.
So I see a good question here from Felix, and I just want some clarification. So we use this for paid B2B events as our chat service. Would be nice to find this as a source for chat messages. So I'm a bit confused on this. Do you mean you'd like to have it defined as in you have 3 YouTube channels and you want to know exactly what YouTube channel it comes from? Or are you looking for users to be able to jump into the Restream chat and reply from the Restream account? So if you just want to quickly clarify that, and as soon as I see it pop in, we'll jump back to this question.
I see another great question. I've seen it repeated a couple times in the studio while we're waiting for that update. Do you know, will there ever be a connection with Restream? So I don't actually know this channel.
So is a live kind of presentation thing. So basically, you know how Zoom has virtual backgrounds? Is like that, except for instead of having a virtual, I know it's weird to say their name. It's kind of like that, but the only difference is instead of a virtual background, it's a presentation background. So you would have like you as a virtual background, but kind of small in the corner, like almost like you had a green screen, and then behind you would be like your Google slide or something like that. That's from what I understand. That's what is.
Okay, so is it kind of like, for example, if we change the layout for the picture-in-picture? So for example, it would be what I'm about to change us to. So this is Randy. I am here in the the lower right corner. So for example, I would remain here and then someone could use a screen share, or I could screen share something else and have it appear in the background. Is this the same setup that this would appear as?
I think so. I think the only difference is there'd be no background. So I would just be a cutout on top of the frame versus having the whole frame kind of shown.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, thank you for clarifying that. And thank you so much, Xavier, for the great introducing that subject to me. So at this time, we don't have any plans to introduce to our services. However, if we do get enough feedback, if we get enough desire for it, this is something that we could consider for our future features and updates. We really do value and appreciate user feedback because we update our features based on what our users want, because this is really important for us.
Absolutely. And we'll take that feedback right to the team. I think that would be probably for marketing to reach out laterally and see. But definitely a good idea. I've only seen a couple times, but it was on my radar recently through Twitter. This is good. Crad says, I use Restream to 3x my brand. Allowing my fan base to choose their favorite platform to interact on is super important. And I completely agree. If you tell somebody on Twitter to make an account on Twitch to watch your stream, they're probably not going to do it. If your stream is on Twitter and Twitch, there's a good chance they'll watch your stream, go, this is good content, I'm going to go over to Twitch because, that's what you're promoting, kind of thing.
Yeah. And, that's kind of going back, your audience, your stream, your broadcasting, all of the content you're creating, it's really important that you're making that accessible to as many users, as many niches as possible. Because, when you just first start off streaming, when you want to start for your congregation or as a DJ or as a gamer, whatever your niche is, you want to make sure that you're developing content and you're sharing it with as many people as possible, because that's how you're going to build a following. And that's how you're really going to elevate and, define your streaming experience.
I'm just scrolling through all of our different questions here.
I saw this user, Chefred Barros, is using it for pastry classes and counseling my students. I love this. This is so cool. This is two of my favorite things. I love pastries, I love cooking, and I love working with students. I see a lot of users reach out and using this for a really interactive way to engage with their students for online classes, or just to, have different programming for class projects. So let's see what else we've got. I see Randy's popped out for just a bit, but we're just going to keep on going. Oh, looks like Randy's coming back in. All right, let's see. Let's see what we've got. So many good questions. So, okay. So let's talk about some of our Restream chat and get Stream incorporated into this. Hey, Randy, welcome back.
Sorry about that. I guess I was scrolling through the chat too fast and my browser got a little bit overwhelmed. I was scrolling all the way to the top of the chat to make sure that we didn't miss any chat messages, but it looks like we've got all of them. If you feel like we missed one, definitely throw it back into chat again, but sorry about that.
No worries. I was just going to talk about our Restream chat, and I think I just popped the chat away, but that's okay. So we don't offer chat to unlimited destinations or unlimited channels. It really just depends on the connection to the platform that we have chat interactions with. So for example, Facebook doesn't have the same chat restrictions as Trovo or YouTube, it just depends on the channel and the destination. So if you have a channel or a platform that you really want to interact with chat with, if we don't have it listed currently on our services that we currently offer, then that's something that you can definitely reach out about for feedback and that we'd be able to consider for the future. But only the list of chat that we offer directly on within the chat itself, that's what we have available at this time.
So I see a question that I can't answer, but I feel like you might be able to hear from Marion Frost. Is there going to be an embeddable player for websites in the future?
I understand this question. I really, really understood the frustration that a lot of users had when we got rid of our Restream widget. I really love the widget, and I was really upset to see it go away because I personally used it, and for me, it felt like it was a disservice to get rid of it and have to use another service and with Restream, whether it was Facebook or YouTube. And at this time, we don't have any plans to re-add it because our previous widget wasn't working and functioning as well as we wanted it to provide the best experiences for our users. But in the meantime, we do have the ability, and we have help articles to help you use YouTube or Facebook or other paid players to help you stream your content to your website.
I personally highly suggest YouTube. I find that YouTube player is very consistent, works really well, loads quickly, and works well on mobile and computer. But if you are looking for a paid service, I believe Wowza is a good, I'm not going to say cheap, but definitely a good cost of affordable method.
Yeah, I have a lot of users who reach out to me in support who want to know, what is the platform that most users reach out wanting to know how to use, and it's Wowza in this case for third-party embed tools. Let's see. Oh, okay. Here's a good one. Randy. So Randy knows a lot more about technology and how to kind of have some very fun workarounds. And so Felix Schlosser wants to know again, is there a way to embed a website URL as a source?
So there isn't a way directly in Restream Studio to do that yet. But with our recent addition of streaming OBS, which I showed a bit later and I will show again now, you can actually do that. So I'm going to use the Restream chat. Not that you would ever need to embed the Restream chat because we have this cool chat overlay feature, which will actually throw the chat on screen. And now any messages that we get in the chat from now on will actually appear right on the screen. And that's just like with a little switch right above the chat on the right-hand side. You can quickly toggle that on. So you can do it that way. However, it's the easiest method for me to be able to show you what I'm talking about. So let me go to this view. Actually, that view is not the greatest. And then we'll just hide this for now. So you can see here's the embedded chat screen. I'm going to copy that, paste it over here, hit plus down here, go to, I believe they call it browser source, but there it is, browser. And then we'll just leave it as browser. And then we'll just paste this in here. Okay. Now all the chat messages will appear here. You can see it's already grabbed it. And then, of course, you can stream this right to Restream Studio and use it as a source. So in like 3 seconds here, it's going to pop in as a source, provided the URL hasn't changed because I've reloaded. There it is. Perfect. So now you can see I just pulled Anya's view in here down in there. We'll disable this and make hers full screen. So now you can see I've got the chat window here and I can move it anywhere I want. That's embedded as a browser. So the way to do this is just pop into OBS Studio, add it as browser source as you normally would, and then go live to Restream Studio, and you'll be able to kind of use it all as one. There we go. And I'll stop this streaming because my network is not having fun with that. If you do stream with OBS Studio, you can do it on the same computer, but it will kind of stress your bandwidth a bit because it is technically 2 streams that are coming off of 1 computer. So if you have a laptop or a different computer in your house, it might be best to stream OBS Studio from there and then open up Restream Studio on a separate computer. But you just saw me do it all together at once, so it's possible in both directions.
Yeah. So Randy, If a user is using OBS and they're using Studio together with the source, if they have a network connection issue, is that going to be present in their stream quality, or how is that going to appear?
So the only issue that will probably happen is that your webcam will start to pixelate and might freeze, but the stream itself will remain at the same quality because that's coming out right from Restream Studio. So the background will remain the same. If your guest is connected, they'll remain the same. You might have seen earlier in the show, my browser got a little bit overloaded with me scrolling through chat too aggressively all the way to the top and bottom and loading in hundreds and hundreds of messages at once, which caused my browser to kind of have a bit of an issue. And I disconnected for 3 seconds there. I was able to just reload and jump right back in, and Hannah was able to continue the show without me. So it is a very strong, or that is a very strong proponent for saying, have a guest on your show. It's so easy with Restream Studio. It's either the click of a button or sharing a password and having a co-host, and you can make sure that your live stream stays live through all your technical problems.
Yeah. And I just want to emphasize, if you, for example, me and Randy, we're using our co-host feature. So we both logged into the same account. But if you're using a guest, if you have a network connection issue, it's not going to rely on the guest network to maintain the broadcast. It would either result in disconnecting or having any streaming issues. And so it won't rely on their overall network. So if that's something that you're concerned about, I would definitely recommend that you use the co-host feature and just be really cautious when providing your username and password to your account to others.
Mm-hmm. And like I mentioned earlier, you can always jump into your settings and change that at any time. Your password, you can even throw on a 2-factor authentication. So we are coming here to the end of the show. And I think it's time for us to pick a winner. I gave out the contest rules, so I feel like it's only fair that you get to pick the winner.
So I can't see who followed on here. I can't see who followed and liked. Do you want me to just pick out a user who was interacting with chat previously, or do we want to reach out to the user after this show?
Let's just pick somebody who's on the stream now, and then we'll make sure that they're liked and subscribed. So if you win and you're not liked and subscribed, we're not going to give you the prize until you like and subscribe.
Yeah.
That's part of the rules.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm a little biased. Okay, I'm gonna make this. I feel maybe I'm not supposed to be. Okay, I'm just gonna update and re-scroll over and over again, and I'm just gonna click a person. So, okay, I can't pick this person, but Grace Duffy is one of our coworkers. So, Grace Duffy, congratulations. You have a T-shirt already, so we're gonna find someone else.
That's what happens when you go random.
Yeah. Okay, so Mark A. Fly. Congratulations. Thank you so much for watching on Facebook. You've won our T-shirt. Thank you so much. Yeah, and then Randy, do you want to help him out and answer his questions since we didn't get there quite yet? And he wants to know about the recommended bandwidth for best experiences in the studio.
So across the whole board, I would always suggest having at least 5 megabytes of upload speed. I think it's per second, yeah. So you at least want 5 megabytes per second, and then that way you kind of have some room. And overall, you never want to stream more than 75% of your bandwidth. So for Restream Studio, you don't have to worry too much. It's all kind of handled on the back end. Just make sure you have at least 5 megabytes of upload. When you're streaming from OBS Studio or something like that, and you actually get to pick exactly the kilobytes that you stream per second, never go over 75%. So if you've got 5 megabytes, I would stay at 4 megabytes or less, because you want to leave that buffer for, somebody else on your network decides to send a photo to a friend and suddenly your stream starts jumping because it needs to give some bandwidth to them versus just your own bandwidth. So definitely at least 5 megabytes up a second. I'm also going to throw my email in chat here. Check your DMs. So Grace is actually going to handle that. Perfect. So yeah, we'll reach out to you one way or another, either through Facebook DMs, and we'll make sure you get that prize.
Yeah.
Ooh, we just hit 100 chat messages.
Yes, lucky 100.
So I feel like that's a perfect time to end the stream. We're in on our 100th chat message. Very, very active Q&A. Thank you everybody so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you guys for being so interactive. It's been such a great broadcast, especially sharing it with Randy. You guys have made it so much fun.
I totally agree. Thanks for being my co-host today, Hannah. I'm glad that we have somebody on on the show who's just so knowledgeable about the back end. I can do my workarounds and tech stuff, but when it comes to the actual back end of how things work, that's where I'm like, we have 24/7 live chat support. It's down there on the left. Like,
well, I'm happy. If you guys have any more questions, if you have any more streaming concerns, or if you just have a streaming problem, please reach out via our support. We have our support team available 24/7, and we're happy to answer any questions you guys have.
All right, and with that, we're signing off. So thanks so much for everybody for joining us. Make sure you join us for our next live stream with Restream product demo Q&A. Hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're and all that kind of stuff. And we'll see you guys next time. Bye.
Guys.